I'm unbreakable. Unbreakable. I'm unbreakable. Unbreakable. I'm unbreakable. Unbreakable. Welcome to Unbreakable Truths. I'm Katrina Walker. Joining me this week is Pat O'Brien, director of Adoptive. He is the founder and former executive director of You Gotta Believe, the older child adoption movement. Today we will discuss the challenges of foster care and adoption in the Black community. Welcome, Pat. I'm so happy to have you here.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Maybe you can help us out here. You know, even myself being in the child care industry for 25 years.
Wow.
My thing is, I'd like to know, why is it so hard for children of color, Black children, brown children, to get that adoption and get the care that they need from foster care?
Well, I mean, that's really the main reason I entitled the organization You Gotta Believe.
Yes, yes.
The primary obstacle in anything that we do is we don't believe it's possible. When I started in this field about 30-something years ago, kids were being discharged from foster care at 18.
Yes.
If they weren't doing well, maybe they could stay till 19 or 20 if they were. And that means they were essentially being let loose upon the land to wander, and they were predominantly Black and brown children. And that was just something that I wanted to highlight as something that should never happen when the average 22-year-old, even then as well as now, who goes to college after a 4-year college degree, return home to their parents after they get their college degree. I mean, in gigantic numbers.
Yes.
Our children are not leaving home at 22, and when we were letting loose kids at 18 from a foster care system without any parents at all.
Yes.
So I started an organization to find those kids adoptive parents
How
as
wonderful,
well.
how wonderful.
Yeah.
And one of the things that baffles me, and one of the things that I'd like to ask you is, when there's a family, say that the mother has 5 children, you know, we went through this with my sister, not so much foster care. At the time, my mom was living, so my sister had 5 children.
Yeah.
So my mother said, I'll take all 5 of them, because she didn't want brothers and sisters. She said brothers and sisters should never be separated.
There are more and more relatives raising their children in this
absolutely.
today,
Yes.
mainly because it's the most commonsensical thing to do.
Yes.
And it's great to hear that you had a grandma that was able to raise
but
5
not always. Yes,
5 kids.
right.
You always want to keep siblings together, because those are the people that they're gonna spend most of their entire lives with, and it's so important to do that. The other thing is, most of the young people who are in foster care right now, their parents are alive.
Yes.
They're not literally orphans that their parents have died. You know, and it's usually related to early life trauma, usually related to some sort of abuse and neglect that might have led their way into foster care.
Right. I can remember cases that I saw, and it broke my heart to even have to, you know, sometimes you got to report it, and especially abuse when it comes to little children. And when I have a mother running a 24-hour child care, the baby comes in at 8 o'clock in the morning. The mother don't pick it up until 10 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And bring it back in with the same pamper on at 8 o'clock in the morning. You know, I mean, those are things that I've seen. So that's when you have to get involved.
Well, first, I'd just like to say that that's amazing that I never even heard of a 24-hour daycare center.
Well, I was the first.
So you not only did the first, that's the first that I've ever heard. That's an amazing idea.
Okay.
So congratulations for accomplishing that.
Thank you so much.
You know, we talk about it being hard. The hard part is getting people to believe it. Once they believe, it's relatively simple to actually get the families.
Okay.
You know, I spent my early part of my career finding people from the general community to adopt older kids.
Wow.
And then occasionally the older kids didn't particularly like the families that I found for them, and I would never send them back to a group home or treatment center. So I would just find another fammy.
Right.
Then after a couple of families, you know, that the kids didn't particularly like, I just asked them, well, then who would you like to be with?
Right. Okay.
And almost every kid had somebody. And then our job transitioned to go into the people that know and love our kids and bring them into this process.
Right.
And we always start with a learning process.
And I think that's super great what you do as far as asking the kid, giving them that opportunity. Who would you like to stay with? Who, you know?
And most of the kids that we were working with were 14, 15, 16 and older, and they had perfect opinions on what they wanted.
Okay. Yeah. And one of my questions too, with you saying that they were teenagers.
Yes.
So is it harder to place older children?
It depends everything on the conceptualization. It's not hard to place if you work with the people that know and love that teenager to bring them into the process. Our basic process right now is to recruit from the general public, total strangers who don't know our kids, and then our kids have had a lot of early life trauma that gets exhibited in behaviors.
Right.
So if you don't have the predisposition before they move in with you, that you already love them and are committed to them, it makes life a lot harder.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be that hard because I haven't met a kid in foster care that didn't have somebody who knew and cared about them that could either come forward themselves or lead me to somebody else who can come forward.
And my heart really goes out to the children because they're already dealing with psychologically, not being with their parent.
Yes.
So how do you all make certain that they're not going into another bad situation? As far as how are these people, the foster parents, how are they evaluated?
Well, that's good. That if somebody came to our program, because we do encourage people from the general public to do this.
Okay.
They would sign up for a 10-week learning experience.
Okay.
Where we're preparing them for what to expect.
Sounds great.
During that 10-week period, we collect basic paperwork from them. An application with information, then we get medical information about everybody in the household. We do a criminal record check. We do a child abuse clearance. We talk to references and we ask for references. We get financial information. And most people can meet the criteria, but that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the basics, and what's most important to us is that they understand what they're about to undertake.
Yes.
Now, that's without the young person living with them.
Okay.
Then there's also, we need an opportunity to re-educate and continue to educate families
and that's
after the kids move in.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Because there's all sorts of interesting issues that come up after kids move in. And families need support as well during that time as well.
Yes.
We have to outline the basics. You got to stay committed to this kid no matter what.
Yes.
Now we got to help you maintain that commitment.
How do we get the word out to the African American community, people of color, about the children? How do we get the word out to let people know,
Well, I mean, doing a broadcast like this is certainly a good start.
Okay.
I would recommend contacting You Gotta Believe at 718-372-3003, or check out the website yougattabelieve.org. We're always giving orientations, and our outreach to the public is not adopt an older teen. Outreach to the public is learn about adopting an older teen.
Absolutely.
And we give classes in Manhattan, Brooklyn, all around New York City. And it's just a wonderful learning experience. Even if you don't move forward and do it, you pick up so much information about the need that maybe you will help, help mentor a kid, or help us find a home for particular kids.
Absolutely, I love it. Thank you so much for coming, for sharing this information. I know that it's some parents out here or some people out here that really connect with this.
And you might even have people watching this broadcast right now who know a kid in foster care, and they never knew what they can do about it.
Right.
They should contact us, and we'll work to get them licensed, and then even pursue that particular child for them. Could be a school teacher. It could be a coach. It could be a relative that's a distant relative nobody even thought about. Maybe a first cousin or a second cousin.
Absolutely.
Or there are loads of family members that are wondering, what happened to this child who's a member of my family but not with their mom anymore?
Right. So Pat, how about some of those national organizations? Can you tell me about those?
Well, actually, I'm on the board of the North American Council on Adoptable Children, and they're a great clearinghouse for the country if anybody's wanting to know what's a good organization in their community. And then there's another great organization called Adopt US Kids.
Okay.
And just remember, Adopt US Kids, one word.org. Check out their website as well. They can lead you to a variety of places in the country.
Thank you.
And they also have a website where there's a lot of children across the United States that are actually pursuing an adoptive family. It's a nationwide clearinghouse. So there's a lot of really good organizations doing some work out there.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that, because it's somebody out here, and children are everywhere. And again, I've been dealing with kids for over 25 years, so I see it. I've seen it. And all I want to know and make sure that these children are helped, and the parents too, as well, and these kids are placed in good foster care. Thanks a lot for coming.
All right, my pleasure.
Thank you, Pat.
Sure.